next property above the garage, which is yet to be renovated, as you can probably tell. I've not been kidnapped and locked in a crazy guy's attic. Although that would be a cool premise for an ASMR roleplay. Anyhow, I thought today that I would go through some of my final record collection, just because we're still kind of in the midst of unpacking and there's just a lot of boxes of crap everywhere. Lots of cool sentimental shit with a story to tell, that I could probably dedicate a few videos to, and I thought I might head things off with the records. So yeah, I'm gonna just flick through them. I haven't actually listened to many of them in a really long time, like years. There's a few that I have listened to more recently, but generally I don't play them anymore, just because I don't really have the means. I've got a record player, but I don't really have speakers. I'd like to get like a stereo, a proper stereo system. Oh shit. I just have one of those moments when I'm like, wait, am I recording? But yes, I am. Now I'm luminous. No, I'm not. Yeah, I haven't listened to them in a long time, and generally don't really listen to vinyls anymore. I've got a few new releases, but you know, I stream music online, and you know, I finally got Spotify like the other month, and I'm not quite sure how I've lived this long without it, but anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, it's not an exhaustive list of the music I listen to, because yeah, like I said, I went through a phase of being obsessed with records around the time I was studying music at BTEC College in Stratford-upon-Avon, Shakespeare's County, and I discovered a really cool record shop, and they were selling, you know, like really cheap vinyls in the 50p section. And I was learning about a lot of new types of music at college, a lot of like 60s and 70s rock and folk. So, you know, I kind of discovered music through records at a time when I think I was really receptive to new music and new styles. So there's mostly just a load of old records like that, you know, old releases. I don't have too many new releases. I've got a few kind of novelty ones, and then the bulk of the collection is actually my parents'. Some of it that I listen to that I'm into, and some of it that I never listen to. So I'm just going to flip through them at my own pace. I'm not quite sure. Also, I've got a little Jack Russell Terrier scampering around somewhere. I can't see her on the camera, but she's right behind me. podcast, so I'm going to be choking to death. So this is one of mine. It's a realistic pillow by Jefferson Airplane, one of the bands that I studied in my college course. Songs like White Rabbit and Somebody to Love, I think they were big hits back in the late 60s with the front woman Grace Slick. Yeah, they turned into Jefferson Starship, I think, like in the 80s, and had some pretty like corny pop classics, which was quite far removed from what this album is about. This was a very kind of drug-fueled sort of classic rock, psychedelic rock sound. I'm not quite sure of the classification, but I'd say it's a very drug-addled or drug-fueled record, but it was about proposing drug use as a means of enlightenment rather than just reckless recreational use. I'm not quite sure that the generation took that message on board, but there you go. It's a great album. We'll go in on Fleetwood Mac, Rumours. I think this is one of the most successful albums of all time. Yeah, it's still a big deal today. It just kind of epitomised rock and roll in the 70s. It was, you know, sexy and stylish and commercially viable. Every song, every tune's a banger on this one. Secondhand News, Dreams, Never Going Back Again, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, Songbird, The Chain, You Make Loving Fun, I Don't Want to Know, Oh Daddy and Gold Dust Woman. And I think because they all wrote, well, Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks, I think did the lion's share of the, you know, the hit making after they joined, but with, yeah, and Christine McVie, all writing, you know, kind of a varied plethora of songs. It makes the album really dynamic and interesting and dramatic. Yeah, there's a lot of layers to the sound, and I was really, really into the male-female vocal harmony that really came to a head around this time and has never really been replicated in pop music since, to my experience. I've got a Bob Dylan record here. Obviously, it's Bob Dylan, so he kind of came along and overhauled the American Songbook. Blondie, Parallel Lines, another classic record. Still really relevant today, and I just feel like every like wannabe rock chick in music wants to be Debbie Harry, and you know, why wouldn't you, to be fair? I've got a Killers record, Battleborn, kind of unfortunately, I'm not the kind of person that, you know, constantly loves to soak up new music. I'm the kind of guy that, like, has one band or one artist and one song and just rinses it on repeat 100 times a day for 2 years and then never listens to it ever again. Yeah, so we've got more Fleetwood Mac albums here. This is Tusk. What's this got in it? Think About Me, Sarah. I love that song. What would these guys have done without Stevie Nicks, to be fair? Mirage, I don't know what this has got in it. Gypsy, oh, this has got some good songs. Hold Me. Along the vein of that era, well, slightly preceding that era, would be the Mamas and Papas. I've got loads of their records. I've got another one here. Yeah. Their Breakout album and a bunch of others. Yeah, I fucking love these guys. Like, these was like my favourite band for a really long time. When I was 17, I discovered Sunshine Pop and Rock, and yeah, that whole 60s scene, and I just I loved it. Again, it's the kind of boy girl blend, and they were a band that my parents played in the house a lot, so I kind of grew up with these guys' voices. So yeah, that sense of familiarity was really nice. It brought me into this obsession with vocal harmony. We've got the Birds, again another like classic band of this era. Mr. Tambourine Man. I feel a whole lot better. That's a good tune. Chimes of Freedom. Yeah, just the sound of this album just epitomised the genre again, and just epitomised the whole era. Very American, distinctively like carefree, optimistic sound. Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie. And I do like this album, although it's not got my favourite songs by him on it, but he's just like had so many eras. I think that's like really the mark of one of the greats, is like you just grow and change and adapt through the decades and the generations and the eras. I actually listened, Alexa played me Black Star the other day while I was painting my room, and yeah, it's like incredible, really. Yeah, I think I can just cherry pick through all of his eras to find, you know, all my favourite stuff by him. And I feel like he's visually referenced so much by my generation. Just as much as he is musically. I've got a Nina Simone album here. This record is called Gin House Blues. It's got a few big tunes: To Be Young, Gifted and Black, Backlash Blues, I Want a Little Sugar in My Bowl. I don't know whether this is like a compilation. she is one of these artists that I've listened to and experienced, not really record by record, but performance by performance. I feel like some artists' legacy is very much tied to like albums or bodies of work, and other artists kind of, their legacy is kind of dissipated into the digital age, you know, so I've, you know, experienced most of Nina Simone through YouTube clips and archived footage and, you know, famous performances at jazz festivals and famous interviews and like all this stuff that has kind of like cemented her legacy in the digital age. I can't really like name an album that I think is like one of her, you know, seminal classic albums, but her music is like on another planet. It's, I mean, as a performer and an interpreter of music, it's pretty magnificent, the stuff that she can do, particularly as a pianist. The way she plays piano is, you know, just wildly passionate and infectious, with this like amazing blend of classical discipline and jazz structure and, you know, all these different styles, all these like, just a mastery of all these different styles. Beach Boys, Pet Sounds, just packed full of their biggest songs. God only knows, wouldn't it be nice? Sloop John B. Theirs is a really distinctive sound that is kind of antiquated in the way that it defined the, I'm gonna say, is it the 50s and early 60s, but also timeless in the way that it has never really been replicated, so it just kind of stands on its own. But yeah, the song God Only Knows is like, I don't know, it's just a really beautiful song, and the way it's recorded and produced is, I think, really innovative. I've got some Lana records here. I've got the Born to Die album and Ultraviolence. Yeah, I really love her music. She's definitely been a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways, I think. You know, when she came along, she's had a lot of shit. She gets a lot of shit, but I've got Amy's Back to Black. This is like a true modern classic. Every song on it is incredible, but the fact that she made this when she was like, I don't know, 22, 23, it just makes me sad, because I think, fuck, like, what would she have been doing when she was, you know, 30 or whatever? But yeah, this, I loved. I was a huge Amy fan before she died. I'm not one of those people that's like just decided that they loved her like as the minute she died. I was actually a genuine hardcore fan. Ever since I was like 12, I thought she was so cool. And yeah, what did you guys think of the documentary records in this collection. There are a couple, but I haven't experienced all there is to experience about the Beatles, to be fair. And they are a band that you kind of inhale naturally, just whether you like it or not. It's just everywhere. Their music is everywhere, whether it's being covered by other artists. It's just an inherent part of music culture. But you know, I tend to prefer listening to like the Kinks or the Beach Boys or the Stones. Anyway, for a break of pace, I've got The Hawk Flies High by Coleman Hawkins. So yeah, Coleman Hawkins was one of the first tenor sax players of the jazz era. Back in the 1920s, and I just love the way he plays. I mean, it's so passionate. He just weeps melancholia. His rendition of Greensleeves, like, absolutely floors me. I mean, he's played through the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, he played through all the different jazz eras. But I think because he preceded the bebop era, his kind of generation was more about romance and passion, and you can really feel that. I can really feel it. You know, all of the big jazz hitters like Monk and Miles Davis that were either through the bebop era or after. Bebop was very, very competitive and egomaniacal and technical, and I just can't really feel it, to be fair. Like, I don't know, it's one of those that I'll probably circle back to in a few years' time and something will click, but I don't know. I've got a Carpenters record here. I fucking love those haircuts. Look at that. That is something else. Yeah, just Karen Carpenter's voice makes me cry. Jokes. I've got a bunch of Simon and Garfunkel records here. Just a crazy amount of incredible, perfectly crafted songs. Scarborough Fair, even though they pronounce it wrong. Scarborough Fair, 59th Street Bridge song. Bridge Over Troubled Water. I love that song. And then this album, which I'm pretty sure Bookends, which was written for The Graduate, or just utilised in The Graduate, the movie. It's an amazing film, and this album is incredible. My phone screaming at me, telling me that I'm running out of storage space, so I better get a wriggle on. I've got Carole King's Tapestry. Prevalent songwriter, probably one of the most successful songwriters ever. She wrote for so many different bands and artists, and I think she was part of Tim Panelli and the Hit Factory, and then eventually went on to make a record of her hits performed by herself. I Feel the Earth Move, So Far Away, You've Got a Friend, or You Love Me Tomorrow, Natural Woman. I mean, just insane, massive hits. Just unbelievable. She's an amazing songwriter. And I've got a few records here. The Clap. Nobody calls him that. I've got Eric Clapton, August, and I've got a Chris Rea record, and Breakfast in America by Supertramp. I love this record. Every song, Gone Hollywood, The Logical Song, Goodbye Stranger, Breakfast in America, Take the Long Way Home. This is an incredible album and just a really distinctive soundscape. And this one, along with this one, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, the original concept album or whatever. I can't listen to these songs anymore. This was my dad's favourite music in the world. My dad died. It'll be 2 years in September, and I've just found that I can't bring myself to listen to Supertramp or Pink Floyd or Chris Rea. Any of the music that he loved, that he played, is just like it's like needles in my face when like those songs come on the radio. It's so painful. Actually, my dad's favourite Christmas song was Driving Home for Christmas by Chris Rea, and up until recently I was working in a cafe and that song was on the Christmas playlist, and I had to listen to it like 5 times a day around Christmas last year, and it's just like, oh, shut up, please, for fuck's sake, just stop. But yeah, I guess that's the power of music. It's just so like intrinsically linked to memory, and it's pretty wild. And then I'll round it off with the GOAT. I've got Joni records here, early Joni records. I've talked about her before because I really love everything she's ever done, kind of like Bowie. She's got all these different eras, and made amazing music like well into her, senior years while she's still alive. But and this is Jonis Blue, which recently celebrated its 50th anniversary. It's another seminal record. Like, every song is perfect. It's got some kind of like pop, like contemporary aspects, and then a lot of very, very sort of introspective, pensive, jazzy, kind of open chord sort of moments that are just really powerful and quite unique to her. I think this was her first record, and then this was like her at the height of her fame when she formalised a band. But yeah, this is one that I think kind of overpowers everything else she went on to make afterwards, which is kind of a shame that happens to so many great artists. They'll spend like 40 years making music, and then their legacy is reduced down to one album they made when they were like 22. just a lot deeper in a lot of ways that maybe can go over your head at first. Anyway, I'm rambling, whisper rambling, so I'm probably going to wrap it up there. There's more, there's like Elton John and Billy Joel, there's a load of other stuff, but I think I've got through all the stuff that I'm most attached to. Yeah, I'm going